Recovery rates on pass-throughs versus an arrow staying in an animal are tenfold higher. So I'm a firm believer that if that arrow stays in that animal, you had an equipment failure of some type. So that 0.5% window, as long as I hit that, then I'm going to have optimal distance, energy retention, and still be able to have the penetration needed to blow through any animal in North America.
All right, guys, so I didn't make this into the video because I feel like this is going to be, you know, I don't want to make it an hour and a half long video or anything like that. So this is following the previous one. Kenny's going to go through this arrow build. And for you big bow guys, you know that arrows is, I mean, this is bow and arrow, okay? It's extremely important, and a lot of people want to know, you know, everything it is about this dadgum stick, okay, and why it flies this way and why it flies that way, what's the best build. So he's going to go over what he does, what he's done for my bow right here, and yeah, so let's take it away.
Hey, well, you know, we talked a little bit earlier kind of about, you know, the arrows kind of being the most overlooked piece of the whole system. So if we were to take and look at it from, say, you know, drop the brands, drop everything else, and you looked at it literally from saying an energy source to a vehicle to carry that energy to a mechanism to cut.
Okay.
And we're basing all this off of our goal to have a pass-through shot. Recovery rates on pass-throughs versus an arrow staying in an animal are tenfold higher. So I'm a firm believer that if that arrow stays in that animal, you had an equipment failure of some type. Either the bow wasn't creating the energy, the arrow was dissipating too much of that energy before it got to the target, or you had an inferior broadhead that mechanism had too much resistance to sharply cut through both sides of the animal. So our system on arrows, where it kind of sets itself apart and what I feel like is very unique is I want to build an arrow that's going to retain the most amount of energy that the bow's creating at distance. So a lot of folks want to measure their success or their goal of speed off of the bow, and they'll shoot it at a chronograph at 3 or 4 feet. Well, I hadn't shot too many deer at 3 feet, so that number to me is not a true measurement of success on building the right arrow to bow hunt with. I want to know what that speed is or that energy at 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards at the distance we're going to be killing. So I'm going to use that measurement because that's a baseline to let me know what a part of that energy formula that we need to know what the bow's creating, but I'm not going to rely on that. So in other words, if we were to take a light arrow out of a heavy energy bow and that arrow can't absorb that much energy, what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of vertical variance. You're going to have a lot of peaks and valleys coming off of that bow. And the higher and lower that those peaks and valleys are, the longer down range it's going to take to stabilize. Well, I want to be able to control those peaks and valleys or a vertical variance to where it's going to be over with quick. It's going to come off the bow, it's going to settle in, and it's going to hook up and like a drag car and gone. So in that, the quicker I can stabilize that arrow, the less energy I'm burning here, the more I'm going to retain downrange. So we built arrows for many years, and over that time I've been able to log a bunch of data points and build a formula that I know the absorption rate of the arrow will match the absorption rate of what the bow's creating. So in other words, trencher bow's creating around 81.5 foot-pounds of energy, and off of that we built this arrow to maintain that. Number one is going to be spine, and what I've realized is most of the spine charts from the factory are based on factory components, which most of those are too light. So those spine charts are not accurate to what truly you need off of your bow if you're going to choose to build an arrow like this. So normally you'll step up one size. Everybody wants to talk about FOC, and that is a very important part. And that FOC number is my final goal on each build, not total arrow weight, but I'm going to match the spine. I'm going to build this arrow backwards from the FOC that I want, and my desired FOC is 16.3 to 16.8. So that 0.5% window, as long as I hit that, then I'm going to have optimal distance, energy retention, and still be able to have the penetration needed to blow through any animal in North America. So the overall weight of Trent, your arrows is right at just under 500 grains, 497 I think grains, and we're at 16.5% FOC on a 300 spine. Now you were on the borderline. If we'd have went up just a little bit more on poundage or draw length, we'd have had to go to a 250 spine, but we were right on the line and we were able to stay in a 300. So an arrow that weighs that much to be able to shoot this flat and maintain that speed down range is the magic formula to ensure you're having pass-throughs. So what my goal is I want to have a flat shooting, heavier arrow, not heavy, but heavier, more of a balanced arrow with the proper FOC that downrange is going to blow through anything that he wants to hit. It's going to help you on accuracy. I mean, we just set this bow up from nothing, and you were shooting accurately out to 100 yards just within a couple of hours. So to be able to do that, a lot of that is in your arrow build, and being able to maintain that accuracy, downrange energy to blow through it. The way I do that and the way that I manipulate that FOC is all on the front end. So there's multiple components that we're going to use. Number one, other than the sleeve, occasionally I'll use a sleeve that may be aluminum, but on the internal parts, field point of anything, we're not using anything aluminum, just for the basis of I want my components, the integrity of that arrow, to be harder than the bone or the shoulders of the animal I'm trying to shoot in. So I'm not going to put a soft insert and try to shoot through the shoulders of an animal. And a lot of people will argue whether you can do that or not. And with the proper broadhead, which we run all iron wheel here at the shop, that's all we carry, that's all we run. And when you match an iron wheel that has A2 steel that will maintain that sharpness through both sides and put it on a proper FOC balanced arrow that's maintaining that energy downrange, it's a combination that is untouched. You're going to shoot through them. I don't care about angles. I don't care about shoulders. I don't care about none of that anymore. Put it on there, break them down, and be done with it. This is something that over the last 7 or 8 years we have spent more time developing and playing with this and learning based on facts. Gel blocks and shooting through chronos and shooting through all of this testing and slow-mo cameras. It's taught us what works and what doesn't work. And when we, even down to the fletching, the way that we fletch with these helicals, we're going to control the spin. We're going to control that downrange energy to where we maintain it all the way. And here at Top Flight, that's what we kind of hang our hat on, is building the proper arrow for you.
All right, y'all. Well, look, that is a total, what would you call that? A total breakdown of an arrow?
Yeah, that's kind of a detailed arrow build.
Detailed arrow build. That's going to be in my thumbnail.
Okay.
So that sounds good. Once again, if people did not see the previous video, Kenny, where can they reach you? This is in Jackson, Tennessee, by the way.
Yep.
Top Flight Archery. Mm-hmm. How can they reach you?
Reach out by one of the phones here at the shop, 731-616-7848. We also have a Facebook page, Top Flight Archery. You can see a lot of the bow builds, a lot of the arrow builds, a lot of pictures and stuff we load on there. But reach out through text or call, and we'll get you an appointment set up.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
Sounds good. Hey, and y'all got a Facebook page too?
Yeah, Top Flight Archery.
Top Flight Archery. Go like, follow, all that kind of stuff. You've got to get with this guy. They know what they're doing. Okay? So, hey, we'll see y'all on the next one. Appreciate you sticking around.